Alofa, welcome back to another episode of the 135 Footy Show, proudly brought to you by the WesWes Network. You can go check us out and all the other podcasts at weswesnet.com. Welcome in the Usos. Give me 5 up the wires, my love Bobby. How's it going, bro?
How's it, bro? Yeah, it's going good. Another great week of awesome Rugby League. Keen to talk about State of Origin and all the rest of it. So,
Nice.
good to be on for another potty, bro.
Good to have you on, bro. We're missing our regular. He's out there training. He's picking up the pieces for Tapau, so we won't be joining him tonight, but it's all right. He'll probably be having a cry about his Broncos anyway. Also, we'll get straight into it. Let's start on the other end. Let's go with your Kaea Kele, mate. Who stunk over the last weekend?
Well, he was my all eyes last week, but this week, even though his team won, Souths, they won their game against the Tigers. I've actually picked Latrell Mitchell as my Kaea Kele during one of the Tigers breaks by Uppy Carousel. Uppy runs straight at Latrell and does like this super easy sort of move, one-on-one, bread and butter stuff for a great defensive fullback. Should be able to just latch onto that, but man, Uppy just does this little move and he left Latrell in his wake. And so I was thinking, look at how easy it is to get past Latrell Mitchell. I don't know, all those New South Wales guys have been talking Latrell up like he's looking fit. Look at how easy it was to get past him. His defense is shit. Like it really is. It doesn't matter how X-Factor he is on attack. If he defends like that against the Marines, he's going to get carved up. So I hope he brings his South Sydney defensive strategies to the State of Origin match, because he was Kaea, bro. And so that was my Kaea Kele for the weekend.
Ooh, that's harsh. A lot can happen in Rugby League in 1 week. But man, that's credit to Uppy too. That little, he showed it. He showed him. He's got a little chip, and then just a little left and ankle breaker. I was just like, oh, this guy.
Yeah, it was terrible.
Yeah, there was a few reads in that game, so nice call. I went with, I originally had Gutho. And then I changed my mind within a minute back to the Broncos. Just Kaea Kele. We'll get into that game. Usos not here to defend this team, so we're going to rip them apart. But man, yeah, that was a messy end, and yeah, again, the guy who's meant to stand up like that last set, just Kaea, ma'am, like he was having an awesome game, and then that last set, he's on the wing, like fucking totally, like not even an option, just I'll stay out of it. Adam Reynolds was way back, and then they just went left, so yeah, they had a chance, and I thought Gutho botched it when he held down too long, but yeah, the Broncos had every chance. So they get my Kaea Kele, and there seems to be a lot more happening at the Broncos. We'll probably touch on everything else that's the demise. And like you said, that slide that started this time last year looks evident again, so we'll get into that later. Your all eyes, who stood out to you, bro?
Yeah, there were a few that I looked at for all eyes. I'll mention the Doggies coming back to win their game over the Roosters, and the Dragons too to beat the Broncos. That was a pretty tough tit for tat, back and forth sort of match. But my all eyes goes to one particular player, and it was from that Bulldogs Roosters game, and it probably would have been awesome had the Roosters won, but unfortunately they lost. And it was the score, the try that Mark Nwanga-Netawase scored down the wing. That was poetry, bro. Like, I don't think I've ever seen someone finesse a try like that ever. Like, it was, you've seen really, really awesome winger tries, but this was like crazy because there were so many elements that could have gone wrong with this. He could have stepped out. The kick could have been too hard and then it could have gone out long. The kick on that first bounce could have bounced out straight away.
Yeah.
He could have not been fast enough and reached there. But the fact that he was balanced, hopping, kicked the ball and hopped at the same time. Still managed to go from outside back into the field of play. The weight of the kick was perfect. It bounced right up. He dived, scored it in the corner. Like, that was a crazy try. And it's probably one of the tries of the decade for me because of everything that could have gone wrong with that try. But the fact that he was able to score it, man, that was crazy. That was a crazy amount of skill.
That was.
He probably easily could have been my Kaea Kele too, because of the fact that he had a terrible game under those Birdo bombs.
That's what killed him in the end. Yeah,
He had, like, for the ability to score that try and then to get peppered by those Matt Burton bombs and look all at sea, like, that was a Manu Vatuve versus Para type performance where he didn't know how to handle those bombs.
Going early and then trying to reach back is like so.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was a crazy game for him, like on both ends. Defensively, it was really weird because he was dropping the ball and giving possession away to the doggies at really crucial areas on the field, and just put his team under pressure. Yeah, man, but on offense, he was a fire, man. There's a reason why Dom Young lost his place to Nawangani Tuasi, because that guy is just pulling some amazing tries out of his ass. So he was my all eyes for the weekend.
Yeah, nice. It was definitely all eyes. I had a few close ones too. That was probably, you're right, man. Just try of everything he did in that, like even the kick, like his foot, balance. But he even, like, had his foot like halfway in the air too, so he could kind of do that kick, like you said, so it wouldn't go out on the full. And then the bounce, like he had to drag it back in. Just so much skill in what he did. Like just an amazing try. But I went with actually I had a few runners up. I had shout out to Artie, Super Pacific Player of the Year. And man, like for his name, we're doing the league, the footy show, but for his name just around the circles, anytime I hear anything in Super, you just hear Artie being the man for Moana. And just, the kind of the talk that they had about him is, he's going to be worse off for going there. So it's so cool seeing all those videos. And it's him posting it because he was the one who took that personal about them, thinking he's going to be worse off doing this for Moana and for the Ville. So, yep, he's probably like up there as a little shout out. Whanua Blake, man, he was awesome in that Sharks game. And that was like we thought it would be, game of the round, but I'm giving my flowers. You mentioned him earlier, Uppy. Unfortunately, in a losing team, but man, he almost single-handedly dragged them out. That's what you want for a leader. And unfortunate to not get a naming in the Blues team. We'll touch on the Blues team and some of the unfortunate guys that missed out. But yeah, my flowers for all eyes go to Uppy for this weekend. Nice. Let's go over to our comments corner for the weekend. I think we had one actually on. No, there was nothing on the Tickety Talks. On YouTube though, Masi Michael Schofield, he goes, I reckon if you're from New Zealand, then you should not say anything about Origin 100. A few replies to that, but firstly, your thoughts on that, also. Especially for us, we go like, I don't know what it is, but we go nuts here, like about Origin. Like, I guess, it's probably, especially for Aussies, like when they hear us, when we talk about Origin, and you know how our Origin back at Starling Park used to be. So, your thoughts on that? Because I hear it a few times, people saying, if you're Kiwi, if you're New Zealander, don't say anything about Origin. You don't have a say. We're not from there.
Yeah, no, that's a terrible take on it. Purely because we've been watching NRL now for a long time. It's been on our TV screens for ages, and it's always been the pinnacle of rugby league for us in terms of a domestic competition. Domestic, I know the Warriors are in there, but it's an Australian domestic competition, and it's always been touted as like the number one rugby league comp. Superior to any others in the world, like more superior than what's happening in the North Super League and anywhere else. And State of Origin has been part and parcel of that. Like growing up in the 90s, you had your favorite players from the teams that you used to follow. And prior to the Warriors joining, there were lots of Kiwis that followed all of those other Aussie teams. So you had guys who followed the Broncos. I used to follow Manly and the Raiders. And that was mainly because those teams had heaps of players that I liked, but also lots of Kiwis. And, Graham Lowe used to coach Manly back in the days, and then he came across and he coached Queensland. So, there hasn't been another Kiwi coach for either side since Graham Lowe back in the 90s. So, that's our connection really to State of Origin, is that the fact we've had a Kiwi coach there coaching the Maroons. We've had players who have New Zealand heritage who've been playing State of Origin over the years. And so, we have an opinion because we love rugby league, and just because we're not born in Queensland or we're not born in New South Wales, we shouldn't have an opinion. The reason why we have an opinion is because we love rugby league, and that's why. It's not. I find it funny how all these Aussies, they come across and they have this weird sort of reaction when they realise that, oh, holy shit, like State of Origin's massive here in New Zealand. Like you got Kurt Capewell coming over, seeing all the boys, and then you get Webby come and be the coach for the Warriors, and he's like, oh, it's really cool coaching these guys, but I don't know what it is. These guys are strangely all Maroons fans. And like Kurt Capewell was like, yeah, like half the team are Maroons fans, and there's only like a handful of them that are with Mitch Barnett and the Blues. So, we're invested in State of Origin because we're invested in the NRL and in the rugby league teams that we follow. So, I understand it's a state versus state thing over in Australia, that these states are from Australia. That's got nothing to do with New Zealand. But because we're super passionate rugby league supporters and fans of the game, that's why we follow State of Origin. And we've been, vocal about it on social media platforms. We've been vocal in our garages that we watch State of Origin in every year it comes around. So, yeah, I don't know. It is uniquely Australian, State of Origin, but you'll probably find just as many Northern Hemisphere people over in the UK and France who follow rugby league. They'll probably have an opinion about who they support as well. Probably just as passionately as we do here in New Zealand about State of Origin. So, yeah, each to their own. That guy's entitled to their opinion, but I reckon, we invest hardcore in our rugby league, and so when State of Origin time comes around, we're equally as invested as any blue-blooded New South Wales or we bleed maroon Queenslander. So there you go. That's my take.
Nice take. Also, I like the connection there back to Graham Lowe as well. Nice, bro. I like that little translation as to why. But yeah, you're true. Like I agree. Like just the way we're so invested in it, and like Billy Slater says, we don't get to pick which Origin team. Origin picks you, so that's why we're Queenslanders. Like, I don't know. I can't even think back. It's just one day watching it. After I think it was a school social back in the 90s, and then everyone's watching Origin when I get home from the disco, and like, just start watching it, and then you just fall in love with that team, and it becomes your team, and you just stick with it. And I don't know why we got so crazy, and I guess that's the beauty of Origin. So as much as it's very Australian and about their states, I think like the game, Origin belongs to everyone, and I think that's why everyone's so passionate. Probably on the flip side, Letty Smith 9611, his reply was, I don't know what that emoji is, but he just said Pukio. So that's probably a short way of summarizing his thoughts on why New Zealanders should definitely be part of and having a say on the Origin. All right, also, speaking of the Origin, let's get into those Origin teams that were named after the last round over the weekend. I'll jump into the team list here that we got. We'll start with the New South Wales pack. A real strong side. Pretty close to what Stace was saying. It looks like a very Panthers-esque team. Probably just to start with the highlight, bro. The omission. I think it was in that other team list we were looking at previously as well. But the omission of Jerome Romy, he's been doing heaps, doing good. Other than that shellacking they got the other weekend. I think he's unfortunate. And it's a new house pairing, and it's not like Queensland, so I didn't expect him to pick and stick. But your thoughts on their pairing up these two? This will be their first time together, on the big stage. Mitch Moses and Nathan Cleary.
It's an interesting take. As Queensland fans, we've seen, during that time when Queensland had that 8 in a row run, New South went through like 22 odd combinations of halves in that time. And that was because they weren't winning. And so it's really weird to me that New South win a series. Jerome's there. And it wasn't with Cleary last year, it was with Mitch. But they've dropped Jerome after a series win. And I think what it shows me is it's a reflection on the Tigers, really, and the fact that he's not at the Panthers. He probably would have had a look in. So, the logic doesn't fit with me. And I guess that's what it comes down to. It comes down to fit. And so Laurie Daly believes that the fit for him is Mitchell Moses and Cleary are going to be the leaders of his halves pairing. But I don't get it, because you've had this Panthers combination come through of Cleary and Luai, and then you've had all of those other Panthers sprinkled throughout the New South team. Pretty much their whole backline, apart from Latrell and Lomax, they're all ex or current Panthers. And so, I didn't understand it. Is it a reflection of the fact that Jerome's now at the Tigers? Because if that's a fact, if they're picking Mitchell because they think that's a better combo and that it's on form, Jerome has been playing, I thought, all right. Mitchell Moses has only come back from injury. He's 3 games into coming back from injury. So I'm like, really? They believe in Mitch that much over Jerome Luai after what he did last year? Is it more than just his rugby league talent, why they've done it this way? That's what it seems like to me. It seems like it's more than his form. It just feels like they've not picked him for something else. And I don't want to be that guy that says he's hating the black players, man, because they've peppered the backline with some brothers in there. So I don't know. I just find it real. It's pretty sad that he's not even on the interchange at all. So they've gone with Connor Watson in that 14, and he's not even been named in the reserves.
The
Campbell Graham took him
at least have him
Olukwatu
for backup if even during the week. So if one of those two got injured, they wouldn't have even had him in this list to pull him through. It's okay, well, now we're goodbye because we didn't even think to have him. But so maybe sport for choice, but you're right. What are they looking for? Because it's almost, you think the way Luai played, that game too, he pretty much dragged that. He was the man last year. And this is the problem with New South, though. I think it's just the same as what it's always been, even back when you go back to that dynasty of the Maroons, as they go with all this talent and just pick on we got, because if you look at it, that's probably the best 2 sevens running around at the moment. Maybe Metcalf, he's still learning his trade, still working through things. Fogarty's up there as well, but probably if you looked at it, Mitch Moses, only a few games under his belt, but you probably look at these two as the out and out number 7. So picking him as a 6 is okay, so you've got to change his role in the team. But also Luai understands what it is to be a new, not that any of these guys don't. I think you got Latrell can carry that, but I think they lose a lot more off field than they do on field without Romy there. Like, yeah, I feel like it's a mistake. Just Loz trying to do overthinking it, trying to go, look, I've got all these guns and I'm going to make it work. Like, it's a new combination. Maybe it's a huge gamble. Like, it's just those, like, just that chemistry when it comes to halves. Like, you need time. And when it's these kind of games where you only get those, 3 games, you don't get the chances to get it right. It's not a long tournament. It's not a season. You don't get a game after week to get this combination right. You get a week at best this week to get it right for next week. And then sort it out if you're Kopai this week up at Suncorp. Because then you look like a real Kopai if you have to bring Romy in for game 2. Because then it's like, so now we've lost the game. We should have won. We had the guns. Now the confidence is gone. So it's a real gamble to just, let's put this combination together and try it. Like, yep, 2 guns, but 2 guns that might just want to overgun each other. Special Mitch Moses. He's the man. Like, yeah, he's Isaac Moses' cousin, so he wants to be the man. So if the game's a bit rocky, Nathan's going to call, and then this guy's going to overcall, and I feel like these guys are going to go by the team. So I like it for that purpose. Yeah, it'd be good for Stace to be on to hear his point of view, but yeah, it's a huge gamble. Like, just expecting Moses to step down and play second fiddle. If he sees things going wrong, he'll try and step up, and I feel like they'll overplay each other.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the selection criteria is and why these 2 have been picked. But if you're picking on NRL form, the Queenslanders have
got a 6.
Yeah, they've got Munster and DC in there. I mean, those guys their NRL teams are 4th and 6th. And so I reckon Jerome will feel hard done by because the Tigers are sitting at 12th. So their form, NRL form, is better than the Panthers, who are sitting at 13th, and the Eels who are sitting at 16th, second to last.
Yep.
So you're picking Cleary and Moses not on the NRL form, it seems like. You're picking them on the potential for them, Cleary's done it in the past with the Panthers, the potential for them to like, it's not on 2025 form at all, I don't feel, which is why I think it's a bit shit for Jerome to lose out his jersey, like, completely, not even onto the bench, not even anywhere in Laurie's sort of thinking at all. And that's why you're right, it's a massive, massive risk for these guys. It's an untested combo. I don't understand why they've gone away from the Panthers connection between Cleary and Luai, and that shit has been lauded so many times over the years. How many times have we seen that juniors photo of Cleary and Luai in their under 15s or whatever it was get plastered up on social media every time, highlighting the beginning of these guys have played together for and they've solidified that combo as tried and true, and that was the combo that took the Panthers to 5 grand finals and 4 championships. And they've now moved away from that, it seems, and this seems like a real deliberate move by Laurie Daly to exclude Luai from the team. I'm not sure why. I saw reports that Laurie Daly was saying that, Jerome Luai took it really well, he was really mature and blah, blah, blah. When I told him that, I was thinking, so he is telling you what he wants you to hear. But deep down inside, as a true blue fan, he's probably thinking, fuck you, Laurie Daly.
Good luck, mate. Good luck. All the best.
Like, what that reader or that commenter on our thing said, he's probably thinking, Bukio, why didn't you pick me? Why? Yeah, I don't know. That's probably one selection I don't understand too well for the Blues, that particular pairing. And I know our friends who are New South fans will be thinking, no, it's okay. But I guarantee you, in the back of their mind, there is a seed of doubt. Sure. There is a seed of doubt. Untested, all right. I don't understand it, to be honest. Yeah.
The other, probably most of the team, kind of they probably name themselves, like most of them return. Max King. So I laughed last week. I was like, fuck Max King. So I went and watched some of the doggies game, like just what he did last week. I'm like, I see. Like he's a beast. Like he's a big body, and that's what they're going with is just these big bodies that can work hard. And so he I can see why he's in there. So a real hard one because I guess Terrell, we were saying Terrell May, like he was probably a bolter earlier in the year, and then the online strip, like that was after he knew he wasn't getting it. So I don't know why everyone's having a sook. It was like, okay, so he let it slip, but he knew he wasn't in. So you don't cut a guy that's already been cut because of something something online. Like he was already cut. That's why he made the comment online. So if everyone's having a sook, like, oh, you can't cut a guy. It's like, well, he was already cut. So I'm just confused. Well, why he was cut before that. So he was playing good. So I look at it and I go, well, Max King's, that's why the doggies are up there, having a defensive guy like that and a big body who can keep motoring the whole game. I get it. So I'm not too fussed. Again, Beauty, I don't really care about this team. But your thoughts, like, you think he's a bit unfair, done, that he missed out? Like, he was working pretty good early in the year. I don't know about the lateral defensive things they're talking about.
Well, yeah, it sounds like bullshit to me. Like they need to make up some sort of reason for not selecting Terrell May. So I think, and this is again me with my conspiracy theories, the same reason why Luai didn't get picked is the same reason why May didn't get picked. They play for the Tigers, who've been wooden spooners the last few years, which is sad because those players weren't part of
exactly
those guys, that team getting the wooden spoon. And, we've highlighted this in the past. The reason why Terrell May went to the Tigers was because he was asking Benji, am I going to start? Because he needed to play minutes to put a case forward to say that, to put his hand up that he was Origin ready. Fucking hell, he's Origin ready, man. If based on his NRL form, he's like top 4 or 5 props in the game at the moment in terms of post-contact meters gained, hit-ups, all of those categories that you see Adam and Payne Haas leading. Like, Terrell's right there. He's like the third off the third cab off the rank in terms of all of those categories for top props. And I mean, again, this is where you're scratching your head because, okay, yes, Mitch Barnett, Payne Haas, that's a no-brainer because those guys did a job for New South last year in terms of setting up that platform for Luai and Mitch Moses to work off. And, they've been playing same sort of form this year in the NRL as they were last year, carrying both their squads and doing a job for the NRL team. You can't... If you're looking at apples and apples, man, if you compare Max King and what he's been doing for the doggies and Terrell May for what he's been doing for the Tigers, I'd pick Terrell all day of the week because that guy is running similar stats to Payne Haas. Yes, Max King, like, he's a hard player. I saw Laurie Daly highlight a video of them sort of, the doggies team, like he had made a tackle and then they made a break and then he was backpedaling and he was like the first guy to make the tackle after the break. And I was like, that's not a Max King thing. That's the doggies defense. And their whole pack had sort of ran it all the way back. And their whole team's defense and digging in to make sure that they all got on side for that next play after the break. I forget what team they were playing.
But that's the thing. Again, that's what you want from a number 10. That's not what you want from a number 17. Your number 17, you want him to come and smash the heck out of anyone. He needs to do one tackle. He doesn't need to go make 5 tackles in a row and be this workhorse. You need him to go fucking get on the field and smash someone, foul with that guy, and that's your job done. I don't see Max King doing that. Terrell May, he was doing that all year last year, and then he turned himself into an 80-minute player so that he could fucking do this even better. If you need him to do it for 25, now you got an 80-minute player who can just go hard for 25, smashing 3 people instead of 1 person.
Yeah, like he's got an engine, right? Like he's got a similar sort of work ethic engine to Payne Haas. Like, doesn't take step back or anything. I don't know. Did they highlight defensive deficiencies or something in his game. Why he didn't get picked.
Lateral movement. But again, like that's highlighting things that's like, well, that's a Tigers problem. That's a defensive movement thing that Tigers have. Like if he's not moving laterally, because he's going to leave a hole. If the Tigers haven't got a movement like that, why would he go moving laterally to try and cover shit if they haven't trained that? So I don't know why it's like, he's got defensive lateral movement issues. Like that sounds like technical bullshit. Let's put a big word in there. So lateral defensive efficiencies.
That sounds like Kaiser Soze looking up on the board telling a story. Like, I can see Latrell's name on the board. Lateral movement. Yeah.
Who's that?
It just sounds like they're reaching for reasons to explain why some players were left out. Because, and I know we're not the coaches, and there's a whole lot of freaking bunch of couch potato state of origin coaches who are going to chime in. But fuck, man, like I know he's not. I don't give a rat's ass who New South Wales pick, but when you're looking at it, it's like, well, to be honest, I'm glad they picked Max King because fuck having two Payne Haas like players on the squad, exactly. And he literally is like Payne Haas. You swap Payne Haas out, and you put Terrell May in, and he'll get you the same sort of yardage, meters, offloads, same sort of drawing the defense, like 2-3 players in a tackle. Terrell May does exactly the same stuff as Payne Haas does. And I'm not going to say better because Payne Haas is still the top prop in the game. But man, like Tino Fasumiari on the Maroon side, they're all sort of cut from the same sort of cloth. They have the same sort of build, same size, same attracting defense, offloading, all of that stuff. It's wrapped up into a lot of these props. Well, not a lot. There's only a handful of them.
Yeah.
And Terrell May's one of them. And so, the Jerome Luai one and the Terrell May just looks like Tigers hating to me.
Yeah. Very much so. Fortunately for Mitch, he's not a Tiger anymore. That's probably why. Which is like, I'm not a Tiger anymore, so pick me. Yeah, so interesting. We'll see what happens if they bring in any of these 18 to 20. Campbell Graham, Stefano Tuamanu. Yeah, he's been good. And Homole. Man, I think Claude Matangi, he put his hand up last week. I don't know if it was just late that he... but he's looked good all season. Like I think just because, again, where the Rabbitohs sit. But yeah, he's just looked so fit. Like just... working hard too, so he's probably another one. Disappointing he missed out.
And to be honest, that's my pet peeve with Latrell. Like Trell is an elite player, but he drifts in and out of games, and then right around state of origin time, the man plays out of his skin. Wants to get
like
picked in the New South team, and he does bro. And he does amazing shit for Souths that you would hope to see him do consistently. I know my son does because that's his team, and he's Trell did this. Trell's kicking fucking 2-point field goals, and I was like, suddenly I guarantee you, outside of the origin period, that guy ain't taking shots that far out.
He won't be backing up after. He'll play Wednesday, and then I need a rest until origin 2. I need to play
his form will drop back to being Kaea Kele. And then maybe the week out from State Origin 2, he'll probably pick his game up again.
He'll save them in game 2 so that it'll be 1-1, and then he'll be Goldfire again for game 3. That's Latrell.
That is Latrell 101. And so, I don't know who else they would have picked to put in centre anyway. I mean, it's hard to look past his talent. But the dude only turns up around this time of the year. So, yeah, I don't know. Good on you for picking him, but shit. If it's that easy to step him like how Uppy did, I'd be worried about your centres, man. Because he'll be going up against Toya, who's inexperienced, young gun, but he'll be chomping at the bit, man, to get out there and represent. So it'll be an interesting game.
Yeah, that's gonna be all right. Let's get to it. Let's jump into our Maroon side. The backs Kellen Ponga, like no surprises there. Playing at the back of yeah, I think he committed to the Knights, worked hard over the preseason. Um and yeah, those first games of the season showed, how much work he'd put in. Obviously, no one else was training as hard as Ponga, so I just felt sorry for him. So I think he's relieved to finally get to play with some good players in a team that actually wants to be playing. So, yeah, really looking forward to him just being unleashed and actually having a great Origin series. He's missed out and he's been waiting for a long time. So he's a dark horse. No one's really talking about Ponga, so I'm excited to see him just get into it. I think he's going to be a huge, huge changer for the game. Yeah. I guess people just forget how long he's been waiting and how much he loves this. So much talk about him, probably changing to ABs, changing to Union. Yeah, everyone wants to talk and have a say about Ponga, so I'm looking forward to it. I really want him to, stamp his mark and actually be able to tell his own story. So, yeah, excited to see him finally get back in the jersey. No more controversy about who's there. And yeah, all year, it's kind of always looked like it was his jersey. For a while, I thought Hammer might have been a choice if there was injury or just form, but I'm glad he's there. Yeah, your thoughts on that backline, bro?
Yeah, you're right about KP, bro. I think people have fallen asleep on Kiliponga because everyone's been bamboozled by the bright lights of Reece Walsh. But like I've been saying about Reece Walsh, it doesn't matter how talented that guy is, he's not quite up to matching his talent with his maturity, just balancing that stuff out. I think all the off-field stuff has had an impact on his game. And you can see it at the Broncos, how much it impacts. The fact that he can't adapt his style of play to a Ben Hunt who's a bit more seasoned, he's a bit slower. He does things in a real process-driven way, similar to how Reynolds does it. You saw them sort of stutter a bit at the Bronx, and Reece wasn't able to sort of change it up. Like he's just got one speed, man, and he goes from first gear to sixth gear. Like so, you gotta learn all the other gears in between there. Kalen Ponga brings that same level of eliteness, tempered by the maturity. Like KP's a great captain. I always think of this whenever I see Kalen Ponga turn up for another press conference after the game. Like he's measured in his approach. He's real. Like he doesn't spin shit. Like he understands that. You know what, man? I can only do so much, but I'm here for my team. Like just the maturity and how he handles being the captain, being an elite captain and an elite fullback in a very, very not elite team at the Knights. Like it's pretty. Yeah, you're right when you say he's probably looking forward to playing with a lot more, like players that will elevate themselves rather than him trying to G everyone else and elevate the team. He's like, these guys will already be elevated. They'll already be at a level where I didn't need to bring them up. They're all going to be of one sound mind. Our goal is to win this game, win the series, get the shield back. And KP's going to be able to do all of the amazing stuff that he does without needing to motivate, because he's going to have like debutantes who are going to be full of energy. They want to impress. Rob Toyer. You've got experienced guys, Hammer, Val Holmes, Coates on the wing, man, and he's been doing some amazing things at the Storm. That try he scored last week against the Sharks, where he jumped up and he jumped off the shoulder. I think I've only seen that sort of once before in the NRL. But that guy is a weapon in the air, and he's going up. It'll be him against Lomax, I think.
Yeah, it should be a good matchup, those two, all day. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, their backs are stacked full of talent, and they'll be able to match New South. And I mean, yes, you can sort of, the waiting for how much your NRL form goes into Origin kind of counts for a little bit, because once you get to Origin, man, it's a completely different game. These guys are, it's at 1,000,000 miles per hour. So even if you watch an NRL game and it looks fast, man, Origin is super fast. Like those guys will be, it'll be crazy how fast State of Origin, just in terms of how much yardage, the amount of running and shit that they're going to be doing. So it's going to be a very good contest in the backs. I believe that's probably where it's going to be won and lost, because the forwards will most likely, I think both packs sort of cancel each other out, but it's the backs, and they're elite in both of these squads. And so it's going to be the ability of whoever turns up with the night to bring out that eliteness, that X factor. And I reckon it's going to be Queensland, because I think Rob Toya is going to be one of those debutants that's going to play out of his mind and have this like amazing debut and just rip the Blues up. That's what I believe.
Yeah, nice call out for Rob Toya. Yeah, the 20-year-old getting his debut. Auckland born, so I think he must have moved over quite young. Yeah, but was a Redcliffe Dolphins junior. So yeah, Roosters must have got in there early to pick him up before the Dolphins had a chance. So congratulations to him. Probably pushing Val out onto the wing with that naming. Taulangi injured, but your thoughts on Cobbo missing out? I think there was a fear of a fracture from the last game, but that was cleared. So
yeah, Cobbo's making headlines for different reasons this year in game one. Last year he was named on the interchange bench at 14. When the Queensland pack took in, like, they were one forward short on the interchange last year. And so the talk was to Billy, hey man, why did you pick Cobbo? And he was a big body that probably could have filled in if he required, but it didn't. That selection last year kind of didn't make sense, and it kind of felt like Billy was spoilt for choice. But then, good thing he put Cobbo there, because if you recall, that was the game where Reece Walsh got smashed by Soliti.
That's right, yeah.
And then he was off, and we needed, and it
great
was like,
planning.
Suddenly that was the best call ever, because we've got this ready-made elite fullback in the change bench, and it just happened to work that way. No Cobbo there this year. I think that's probably a tough call. It's tough because I thought with the year that KP's had, I thought, okay, maybe he could be a look-in, but he's done well at the back for the Broncos. I just think it's unfortunate, probably because everyone else is healthy. And that's why he's missed out. Like, I don't think you can really overlook the experience of Hammer and Holmes, Coates as an aerial threat, and KP in the back. Like, you probably could have had an argument, well, why did they pick a debutant like Rob Toya when you probably could have put Val Holmes in
especially
there
when Cobbo's still young as well. Like, it's not like
exactly.
he's done his
time.
So
that's, I'm sure Billy's got his reasons. We were wondering last year why Dave Fafita didn't get picked in the squad, and you kind of saw the reasons why when you watch his games at the Titans.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, you're right. He does drift in and out. He does switch off on defense. And we've called this out on David Fafita before when we previewed and looked at Titans games where he kind of doesn't do the bread and butter stuff. He just looks for the breaks and the look at me type plays. Look at that awesome offload I did. But it's like, yeah, but you missed 10 tackles. So hard done by, I think, Cobbo, but you can't look past the fact that I think Billy Slater's gone with experience.
Yeah.
More so than Cobbo's experience. And Rob Toya's been playing really well with the Roosters, in that combination with Nawangani Tawase out at the Roosters. So that combination of them, centre and winger, has been really good. But I don't know. It's unfortunate, but you can't pick everybody. I'm sure Billy Slater's got a plan.
Billy we trust. Let's head over to the Fords. Mo Foraweka making it back in. I don't know if that's his combination with Tino that's helped him to come back into the Maroon side. I'm happy with the others. I think those are pretty much Nangai, Cotter and Carrigan back at lock. Makes sense. I don't know your thoughts on that, Big Mo. I'm not fussed about it. I love Big Mo. So
yeah, I'm not too concerned with that selection. I think what they've done is they've picked one really dynamic, exciting prop on Tino, and then you've got Mo on the other side who does, who just does the hard yards and does what you want of your middles. He's kind of like the Petro Sivanasiva for me. He's just given the ball and he'll cut it up. No frills type football. He'll just
when you need to
do the
get
carries.
Just give it to Mo.
Yeah, hard out. And on defense, he's also pretty decent from that Titans team. So I think you're right. Maybe that combination with Tino is that sort of 1-2 combo that they've got. Is it going to be enough to counter Mitch and Payne Haas in the Blue squad? It'll be interesting to see because those guys really manned up last year. And I also see Mo as being like how that same sort of role that Josh Paili'i had for all those years in the Maroons. Just a reliable front row forward that carries the ball up and makes his tackles. Like that's all you want from your props to do, and it's just a bonus that you've got someone like Tino who's dynamic, and I think his sort of game mirrors Payne Haas's type of game in terms of drawing in the defense, getting those second phase offloads off, and so that's why they've got, I think, Mo there to sort of keep Mitch Barnett honest on the other side. So I've got no issues with that.
Tommy Dearden, awesome to see. You couldn't, they just had to find a way to get him in the team. Unfortunate for Ben Hunt, may look like the curtain has been drawn on his origin career, with Kurt Mann also being named 18th man. Unfortunate. Ben Hunt, a good servant of Queensland, outside of injury, it possibly could be swan song for him last year.
Yeah, it looks that way. I mean, that was what it sort of looked like for Dane Gagai last year when he didn't get selected initially. I think he came back in game 3. It could be the case for Ben Hunt, but you're right. I think Dearden does everything that Ben Hunt does, but just got younger legs and can run a bit quicker, can defend a bit better, has a similar, if not better, kicking game, I think, than Ben Hunt. So, yeah, I've got no issues with Tommy Dearden in there, and I think it just happens to everyone, man. You age out,
time comes,
you kind of get to next man up mentality, and you got to start blooding these new players, otherwise you get stuck with that whole transition of a whole bunch of Queenslanders retire all at the same time.
Yeah, true.
After we've won 10 series
after the dynasty
in 11 years.
Bo Fermor, man, keeping David Fafita out of the Titans, now keeping him out of the Maroons. That's hard. That's all off the back of his work, though. Like, he's been amazing over at the Titans. Just the difference he's making there. So, yeah, congratulations on his debut, as well as Chandler. He's still young. I was surprised. I thought it's just because he's been around so long. Yeah, he's done his time. He's waited. Your thoughts on them being impact players? I guess I spoke about Max King. Your thoughts on these two coming on? Both usually starters, both long minute guys as well.
Yeah, these are interesting because you're right. They've been selected on their really, really good form at the moment, and Bo Fermor has been the man at the Titans. Like he's been dynamic, and it's funny when you look at who his opposite is, Hudson Young. He's been very similar to Bo Fermor for the Raiders. Like that guy's been scoring doubles and shit at the Raiders. He's been doing just as dynamic, just as awesome stuff as Bo Fermor has at the Titans. So that's going to be a good matchup, man. I'm looking forward to that one. Trent Loera, I don't know. Like that was one of the selections when the teams came out, and I was like, really? There's no one else, Trent? Yeah, and Billy we trust, but Trent Loera, what? I don't know about that one. I think the youth side is probably, again, it's that whole you got to start blooding these new generation of Queenslanders and bringing them in to get experience. And I think Trent's probably long-term plan. All of these guys outside of Lindsay Collins are the long-term plan for Queensland. Like, these are the next halves. These are the next edge forwards. Like, these are the guys that are going to step into the breach in the coming years when guys like Nana,
Trent Liero is the new Ruben Cotter.
Yeah,
Ruben Cotter.
pretty much.
Yeah, I seen him running around for the Cowboys. Oh, this guy's a man. Ruben Cotter. Oh, shucks, Ruben. So, yeah, I think Trent is going to be the same. Seen him running around in club world, and this guy goes through the motions. And Solo, why does this guy not wear a Queensland jersey underneath every week?
I know, right? That's exactly right. I mean, look at Paddy Carrigan now, when he was the man of the series only like 2 or 3 years ago, when he debuted for Queensland, and now he's like one of the first names that you sort of see get written in there. So it's like, okay, yeah, and like these guys, this is where I don't know whether this is where I question that whole, what are they picking these players on? When you look at New South and they've picked some of the guys that they have, but then excluded some of the guys that they have, it's like, okay, well, Cobber didn't get picked, well, because all of the other guys are healthy, but also you can't look past the awesome form that Robert Toyer's had at the Roosters, and you kind of want to throw in something different that New South hasn't seen before to try and change up the dynamics of the game and try and change what their game plan's going to be, to counter Rob Toyer. They'll be going through all of the Roosters footage and going, holy shit, is there anything from reserve grade that we can watch on this guy? Because it's only been like 10, 11 rounds. So, yeah, you got to change it up, and I think Queensland have changed it up enough to keep the game and to keep New South guessing as to what they're going to do. They've gone pretty much with stock standard, what's been working for them well over the last few years outside of Luai. But it's pretty much the same sort of squad with a couple of young guys who played really, really well in Hutton Young Max King. So, yeah, man, looking forward to it. It's going to be a good game.
Nice. Cool. That's our breakdown. It's going to be exciting. We'll see what we do next week, because it'll be this time next week that we're recording. So maybe we'll do an early one. We'll slur some words during halftime. Nice. Let's get into the round. Let's jump straight into round 11. Warriors versus the Dolphins. Up at Suncorp. Man, that's gotta be a hard game. That was the Dolphins were up for it, but their crowd, man, that's Dolphins home ground. But you could hear that Warriors chant coming through the TV. I was like, these guys, like, sure, the Dolphins like, hey man, can you guys go home? All these expats, man. But yeah, where'd you watch this one? You guys at home for this one?
Yeah, just at home, bro. And you're right, man. Like, and I think I mentioned this before. Like, one of our old schoolmates, Aaron
Aaron Fowle, yeah.
He's been out there leading the charge for all of those expat Warriors fans with his drum. And he did the same when they were at Wollongong in the St. George game. So, man, like, I'm sure all of these NRL teams love hosting the Warriors, because all of those Warriors fans help sell tickets, man, to those games, and they turn up hardcore to support the Warriors. And because the Warriors are playing really well and they're second on the ladder, man, they're going to pull every couch potato Warriors fan that might have been on the fence in previous years. I'll just watch this at home. Man, all of those guys over in Australia are going to be attending matches that the Warriors are going to be at, and they're going to be attending them in numbers. And you're right, man. Like, that Suncorp crowd sounded like a Warriors home game.
Yeah.
It's like, what's going
that's
on?
what I'm loving too. They've been on the road, like, what's this, 4 games in a row now, and every game is a Warriors home game. GIO Stadium last week, and you hear the Warriors chant go up. I'm like, ain't nobody gonna go watch the Dragons. All of a sudden, you're hearing a Warriors chant. So yeah, the NRL's loving it. It's like, Oh, these guys got fans everywhere. Yes, we do. We got fans. It's gonna be random Warriors guy.
Yeah, those are a St. George chapter, and then last week was our Dolphins chapter.
I know. So Broncos Brisbane chapter that went off last week, but man, they had heaps of opportunities early. Capewell, I'm glad he didn't get the call up. Unfortunate not to get the call up. The way he's been playing over the last weeks, and yeah, just his capability to cover those positions, so he'd be one that you could keep on the bench to cover your forwards, knowing that if you needed to, he can do a number in the backs for you. And for an old man, like the wheels he's been showing, was like, does he? He's not the fastest too, but just right place, the right time. So yeah, Cape Wa. I'm glad he didn't get pulled for Origin. Yeah, usually the time of the year, like that was what I was worried about. We've been playing so well. Those are kind of the time when we, especially because we've been able to hold on. Now we usually kind of pick up these games, and I was worried, like, because they've been playing so well. I was like, flipping Egan's up there, Barnett. Then you got bloody Capewell playing well. And then I was like, oh, flip, who knows? Was Metcalf even? He might be a bloody New South as well. So I was like, shit, take all our bloody players.
No, he's still Samoa.
That's right. His heritage back to Samoa. So it's all good.
But you're right about Capewell though, bro. Like, he's been playing super, super good. And there was that week where, who did we play? I think it was the Broncos. And he was matched up with Tony Staggs or something. And people were sort of dogging him.
That game.
People were saying, oh yeah, no, he's Kaea, he's too old. And they were saying, why is he on the and I think Rocco Berry had just come back from injury or something, and people were saying, why is Rocco playing?
Not in there?
Yeah, but Rocco was like, I think he just come back from injury and he played that week in the reserves, and poor Rocco got injured again the following week. He came back to the NRL. But like that game against
the Broncos.
Yeah, man. The Broncos was the one that Capewell really, really put his hand up.
We tried to score, tried to run away from real.
Yeah, that's right. We tried it and almost. But these are the games, man. And it feels like we've been saying this every week for the Warriors, where these are the games last year where they probably would have lost. And we'll keep highlighting that fact that we probably would have been top 8 if not for those 7 games that we lost by 6 or less points. Fast forward to 2025, and those games, there's probably been 4 now that we last year would have lost within 6. We're now winning within 6.
Yeah.
And it's like, look, that last week against Dolphins by 4, by 1 against the Dragons, 4 against Cowboys.
Yeah, all those games that were like Broncos was a bonus, and then those ones we should win are the ones we usually caught by, because it's like, if we can beat the Broncos, Knights and Cowboys, this will be hard, but we'll get it. But every time you're like, I don't know. But this is where it's counted, like, because that's the season. Like, as much as people are like, you haven't really beaten anyone, it's like, you look at the ladder, you look at the season, that's how it's been the whole year. Like, anyone can beat anyone, and so whether you beat it, like, I guess people keep going on like, you're second, but look at your for and against. Well, that's the comp. Like, for and against is like that because of teams winning in the first and losing in the second half. Like, that's every team, and so I guess it's just maybe it's the grind, the way we've been playing. That's why they're so tight. I'm not fussed about it. I don't really care. Points differential, we're still second.
Like points diff. I think lots of people highlight points differential, and I think before last week's game, we were the 4th worst attack, but we were the 4th best defense. Like, it was super weird. Like, when I looked at the ladder and I was like, wow, points differential. And when I was looking at our attack, it's like, we haven't been able to score as many points as all the other flashy teams in the top 8, but we've been able to keep them out. And it's been our defense that's defined our season so far. Outside of that Storm performance this year, the Warriors have been super gutsy in grinding out some of these games. And, like, there's been a handful of them decided by 2 points. The Tigers game earlier in the year, the Broncos, we won by 2. And then that the St. George Dragons game by 1. So, the next 3 games I think are going to be the real litmus test for the Warriors because they're playing teams there in the top 8. The Raiders 3rd, the Bunnies after that who are currently sitting 7th, and then Sharks who are currently sitting 5th in the next 3 rounds before the bye. So it's going to be a challenge, but
more of the same.
Yeah, exactly. I was just thinking, you know what? It is going to be more of the same. I think this is going to be a completely different game against the Raiders compared to the opening match at Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas. Like, it's going to be a different team, the Warriors, this time around facing the Raiders. Purely because I think, you know what? That first game got me disappointed because it felt like the Warriors could have won that easily, but just knock-ons and a lot of
it was just
silly
like,
things.
It was like rust. That's what I put that game down to, rust, and everyone called like, oh no, it's another Warriors. Yeah. And I was like, nah, it just feels like rust. And this is the thing, like people probably think it's dumb, but like I look at the Warriors and go, they're still not clicking. Like they're getting these games, like you're saying, off the back of defense. But the attack's still, like, we're trying. It's just not, like, you look at all the chances, like, we didn't score, but we had so many chances early. They just weren't coming off, little knock-ons, little things that weren't going to. So, again, it's like winning games off the back of defense because we're just not doing enough attack. Like, we're asking heaps of questions in our own little fumbles or just little things going against us. So, they're way far from where they need to be, and that's what I like. Like people probably like, you just you haven't played the good teams. I'm like, good, because we're not ready to play them. Like I admit it. Like we ain't there. We're not ready. Like Metcalf's been gunned, but we're not ready. Like we're not there. So this will be a different team to what we played against the Raiders, and probably needs a big step up from last week. As much as that was a good win against the Dolphins. Again, we need to kind of ice some of those early opportunities. Like we're going early. Like I love the progression of what I'm seeing with Metcalf too. We early in the year we're running everything. Now we're doing some aerial stuff, just changing it up. Like all these different things. Again, they're just figuring it out. Like last week was a whole bunch of kicks that Warriors haven't been doing. Just aerial plays to the middle, to the side. There's a whole bunch of different things that they're looking to. So I'm excited. Like they're still winning games while they haven't got everything put together. But Aaron Clark has been fucking awesome. Like we talked about it early in the year, like new house combination, but the biggest loss is going to be Tohu. The way they handed over the mantle earlier in the year was so cool. That Manly game, like how he had Mitch and Fish come out. But I was like, I thought Aaron Clark was going to come from Titans and just do that finesse, just try and ball play like a third half. But his runs up the middle, I'm like, Fole, the Titans will be like, Fole, where was that, man? Because I've never seen that in your game. Fole, he's just like, when he wants to be, he's just like another middle forward. And the body, he was never, I don't remember him that big back at the Titans, but now he's just fast and big. I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? This is not Aaron Clark from the Titans. I'm like, yeah. He's been gunned, like just that lock, like just what he's bringing. Because now they're like, oh, fuck, now we got to stop this guy. And then when he wants, he's just offloading it, so he just starts the game running straight. So then, like, and then running straight, bouncing off, and then like, oh, fuck, now this guy just wants to offload him. So yeah, every week I'm just getting more impressed by what he's bringing. And yeah, really just, he's coming out as one of the best buys, like such a under the radar by kind of seeing, he's done some cool things at the Titans. It'll be cool. I didn't think he was going to make this much of an impact to the team in his first season. So, yeah, Aaron Clark, he's probably been up there as one of my all eyes too. Just hasn't, probably we haven't been giving him the flowers, but yeah, week in, week out, he's been consistent. He doesn't do dumb things either. He's such a, like, I'm sure he used to be a hothead sometimes, but man, he's like, he'll do good things. Doesn't like he's not Jazz. Jazz used to do the same and then just and just lose the ball because he's trying to be a tough guy.
Yeah, I think that's the difference between Aaron and Jazz is that hot-headedness. He brings that same sort of mongrel, but he doesn't bring
Just
the
plays professional,
hot-headedness
plays the
that
game.
Jazz does. Yeah. And man, low center of gravity, leg drive. The guy's got it in spades, and you're right. He's come back with a bit more muscle on him than I thought he had at the Titans. I was watching this short video that they had of him when he was at the Warriors, and then when he had a couple of years out from the game, and he came back here and he was playing for the Manurewa Marlins, and he put on the beef, man, and he was humongous. And then it was his agent that sort of reached out and then got him the gig at the Titans, and he must have been on like Kaea money over there, but he went over anyway because it was a lifeline back to the NRL. And he played out of his skins to keep his spot in the Titans squad, because he was coming off the bench, and then next minute he was starting for the Titans, and he had sort of locked down that 13 jersey over there. But yeah, man, coming into the Warriors and just into the environment, I think he's complemented a lot of what we've already got, like Marata. We've got the two boys in the front, Fish and Mitch. Like he's adding real grunt when the props are doing their prop rotation. And you're right, like he's playing like another middle forward, and he's being really, really hard and difficult to defend against, which I think, it's adding another element to the Warriors' attack, and I think that's it's super positive for the boys. I think one of the other differences this year as well is these refs calls, man, and you'll see in that Dolphins game there was a massive call.
Finally, they're coming our way.
Yeah, you're right. You know what? You're right. But it was such... Man, just watching it live and then going back and watching the replays, I was thinking, what the fuck is that ref on? Like, that was a knock on all day.
And then a penalty for the offside.
That's what I thought he'd blown it for. I thought he'd blown it for, shit. How does Chanel Harris-Tavita, or whoever it was, who was in front of Rogers, the balls touched him, and then Chanel's in front of him, gets the ball. I was like,
cleans it up.
It went back. I was like, what? And then when he didn't call anything, I was thinking, play to the ref.
Play to the ref, all right.
Play to the ref.
Well, even the players, because I guess it happened so quick, they're like, well, I guess so, play to the ref. Yeah, because they weren't trying to appeal. They're like, oh, no, just get on with it. But yeah, I'm sure all of them watching like, oh, hell no. Like, well, yeah, and so Peter Goff, so the ref Peter Goff is not reffing any games this week now. So obviously, Connor reviewed it, and they're like, "Oh, you definitely got." But yeah, well, like we never get those kind of calls. I saw the write up that Roger tried to share, like, game defining moment. Like, it's 5 minutes out from halftime. Granted, they scored off the back of their set, which did make it 8-0. So in a tight game, that is a momentum killer going into the...
No, you can't control the ref. Exactly. That's one of the things I used to teach my son and all of the teams I used to play with. You can't control the ref, boys. You just control what you can control, and the referee and the ref's calls are not one of them.
Well, that's the thing. You kind of, like any game, like, that's... was it the Storm Panthers game last week? Storm Melbourne game. There was a lot of calls that went the Sharks. Rabbits Tigers actually. Sorry, Rabbits Tigers. There was a lot of calls that went the Rabbits way in that game. That was rubbish. It's one of those two games. But yeah, when you kind of see the refs going one particular way of the calls, oh wow, you got a whole half to fix that up, and it's on you. Like, cool, our calls aren't going to go our way, so let's just win our way out of it. So. Yeah, you can't kind of say it's a game-defining moment. He got it wrong. He's been punished. So, yeah, Peter Goff is not reffing any games this weekend. So, yeah, Goff.
Peter Goff, we'll put a statue of you at Kaea Stadium if we win this year.
Exactly. So, yeah, thanks for that, Peter Goff. Metcalf, like I was saying, everyone's starting to... There's still stuff to pull together, and that's what excites me.
He's leading the Dally M's at the moment.
Yes, and like I guess it's probably not like when Johnson was leading the team, because there are so many others that are helping out. So, there are weeks where I'm like, I would have thought Aaron would have got all the points, or maybe, Marata last week. So, with the Delium system, it is interesting because usually they share out the points. But yeah, it looks like Metcalf's been getting the flowers every week. And fair enough. Like, what I do like about him too, he's not as talismanic as SJ was when he came on. So he just kind of gets on with things, like doesn't overplay his hand, doesn't get overawed by the occasion either, things that happen. And maybe the media too, like he's not getting his flowers. I think there's so much else happening in the game, which is good. Just keeps the heat and the focus off him. And I think that's a testament to him as well. Like, whether there is a lot of media, he just doesn't seem like the kid that's going to let that get to him. Like, he just seems like he plays the game, enjoys the game, and just gets on with it. So, yeah, the professionalism that he's showing, coming relatively from nowhere. Like, everyone just knew this new kid on the block, Metcalf, was going to be partnering Sean, and now leading our team, and especially against because man, up until, or even this game, like Katoa, the half for the Dolphins, he's been mean. Like, even I saw SJ's breakdown on him last week, and he's definitely like over the just so what he's been able to do with the Dolphins since he's arrived. Like, he was always a run player. He was running in his first 2 seasons, just running the ball, just going in and just having a go running, taking it to the line. And then now he's just changed it up and just taking it right into the line because he's such a run player. And then playing late, he'll look left, in and out. He just seems like have an age because of his confidence of running right into the line, that he just knows how much time he has to play now. So, yeah, I think, off the back of our defense, like, he was still ripping up too. He was having a lot of shots. And I think the Warriors was just putting out their timing. So, a few drops and mistakes from them, but I think that's off the pressure of the boys. So, any more on that game, Wolves?
Nah, it was a close game. I think I'd rather they just pump the Raiders in this next game. I'm getting sick of these
for the heart.
These close scores, man. I probably lost a decade of my life watching these Warriors games the last few weeks.
They're a lot easier than they used to be. I'll tell you that. Like, it's better than the Warriors of old. That's what I can say. Speaking of games that raise your blood pressure, the Broncos and the Dragons, Galufai, our Usos. Our co-host said something last week. I don't know if that's why he's not here, man. He said on the cast, if the Dragons beat the Broncos, that's the last time I ever come on this podcast. Hello, Faye. What happened, man? What happened in this game? They looked on. Broncos started. They looked like they were going to be on. Like, they were angry. They lost the week before. They looked like they were going to bring it.
Last week on the potty, I kind of pumped the Broncos up a bit. I was talking about their talent and being such a great team that they should be able to beat the Dragons. But I'll be honest, man, I was only saying that because I don't want to hurt Simon's feelings on the podcast last week. Because I'll be honest, like, when the Warriors played the Dragons, that was such a close game. And in my mind, I was thinking, they were, man. And I was thinking, shit, I think these guys are they're gonna fucking pull the pants down on the Broncos, because I know the Broncos they'll be pissed off that they had lost the week before. And so now you've got them coming up against the Dragons, who they're not fucking pushovers, man. And the Warriors sort of found that out the previous week when we just beat them by 1. Now, I talked about the slide last year with the Broncos, but that was because they were without Reynolds, and Kerrigan was having a tough time trying to pull them out of that rut that they were in, and they just it was self-destruction mode for the Broncos last year. This year, they're starting to slide, but Reynolds is there. So now I'm like, shit, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is they need to do. Like, Ezra Mam looked like he was the Ezra of old when he came back. And I know there's been all this sort of talk about him with his off the field stuff. But I thought he came back and he did what he needed to do. But the Dragons just wanted that game more, man, and it was back and forth.
Yeah.
And initially, I thought it was going to be the Broncos show when I think they were like 2 tries up, and I was thinking, oh shit, yeah, the Dragons are going to get pumped. And then the Dragons pull a magic trick out of the bag when they're 12 men down, a man down.
It was during that period, yeah.
And they score 2 tries against the Broncos. That's where I feel like, nah, fuck, there's something wrong with the Broncos, man. How do you let in 2 tries like that when you've got an extra man? It reminded me of, was it last year or the year before last, where the Warriors had a similar thing, where they were 13 playing 12, and then I think in that game it ended up being 12 playing 11. It was a crazy game of sin binning. But the Warriors, similar. They had a man advantage last year, and I forget who the team was, but they came back, scored a try against us, and then we couldn't get a point on the board in that 10 minutes. But that period of 10 minutes, who was it? They got Sinbin. It was Su'a.
Yeah.
That period where Jaden Su'a was off, that guy is an edge forward. He's like part of your forward. He's part of your defensive.
They should have been aiming just going through the middle there, but just
calm the fuck out, man. And I don't know what the hell happened in that time, but Dragons just aimed up, and those 2 tries that they scored in that time when he was off, I was thinking, how the hell are these guys scoring these tries? Yeah, it was one during the time that he was sin binned, and then 2.
Both,
yeah.
I think they were both during.
Yeah.
I think Little's was as well.
And then
Jacob Little.
That Jacob Little one was terrible because they were on the attack, and then that pass, it sort of just came to nobody, and Jacob Little scooped it up, and I thought, where is everybody? Where is the defense?
Yeah, well, that's where just looked like surely there's something wrong, like something went wrong, or nah.
And Ezra Mann was the one that tried to run him down, and then he goose steps out of the tackle, and I was like, oh man, for all the good things you do, and then and then that happens where
Ben Hunt wouldn't have he would have made sure I'm the last guy, I've got to make that tackle. Yeah, just the desperation stuff. So,
and it was heartbreaking for a Broncos fan because it looked like they had the game sort of wrapped up when they scored that try, Tony Stagg's try, but then the Dragons come back and score that Sloan try, and then you think, oh, okay, it's going to be a tight game, and then Gutho scores again, and it's like, oh, it's home time, mate. It's time to go home.
Well, then, and then after the scores, so this is the thing, because I think JT gave up. He was messaging Fali. He had given up after that Gutho try, like, effing. And then Arthurs runs in there trying. It's like, oh, hey, man, it's not good for my whaku, man. But, yeah, like you're saying, Reynolds, like that last day, they had a chance to run it down there. The tackle, and then just go by, like someone overcaught. I don't know what they were doing. I don't
know. He looked devastated, Reynolds, when he got caught with the ball on there last, and time ran out, and I was thinking, man, something's up at the Bronx, and it's not anything good, not at all. But, I don't know.
It isn't like. So this is the thing. So we'll get into that because of everything else that's happening. So Martin Tapau, I like the post because Elijah Taylor, ex-Warriors, ex-Tigers, didn't like the way Major's training style was. So he just wrote about it I don't think it works. This guy trains people too hard, and it's, and maybe it's right. Maybe it's the kind of training you need for a quick origin camp, or the kind of training you need to solidify a group of internationals to play a one-off test. Maybe you can run it, but I don't know if it works for an NRL season. I guess he did it with the Rabbits that time, but yeah, he likes that post, and then he gets Kipi, and that's enough to Kipi players. So this is where it's just the same. You kind of you look at the organization itself, it's like, well, the players have come out. So that was the thing. Gordon Tallis, he's on the 360. So he's close to some of those players too. And he's saying the players were unhappy that they were getting blamed about Kevy Walters' exit. Like they had something to do with it. Because they're like, no, that's a Broncos organization decision. Like they were happy under Kevin. They were happy to just support him and do what they had to because that was their team and that's their coach. Yeah, so now all of a sudden it's coming out like the players are like, hey, we had nothing to do with that. It's these guys up the top who made the call to get Seabold, that made the call to get Walters, that made the call to get Madge. So, yeah, as much as there's stuff happening, because it's all that kind of rubbish that you start seeing it on field. Because when you're going, something's wrong, it's like, well, yeah, like these players are guns. Like you look at this roster, should be nothing wrong. So it must be like, then obviously fit enough. Like the way he trains them, like physically, they should be all good. And so, yeah, that's where you have to worry when you get a player like Reynolds and you're saying it's a mental problem. Because this guy is one of the toughest mental guys you think when it comes to the game. You know, the way he had closed down a game, like that's why you buy Reynolds. Not because he's going to put on a flashy, get guys in the gaps and that, but he knows how to manage a game. And that's what the Broncos were struggling with, is having a game manager. So for Adam Reynolds to be struggling mentally as well with the rest of these guys, I think it's huge alarm bells for the Broncos. Like that's the guy steering the rudder. And if there's stuff happening for him to be able, struggling to lead that team.
Yeah, that's where I think it's falling apart at the Bronx. Like the cracks are starting to show, like you say, on field. Yeah, and I think it's all the off-field stuff, like all the off-field stuff that is happening at the Bronx. They might be able to put on a good PR spin around how, it's not impacting on the clubs, but that is horseshit, bro. Yeah. Literally, it is Broncos.
Especially the life shit. These kids live in the social media. They see everything.
Yeah, and so it is starting to sort of show, and I think this is where a player like Reynolds is probably happy to have a senior player like Ben Hunt come through, who probably just wanted to come and maybe finish his career at the Broncos, and now it's like, Sully, I think we're going to be relying on you more than we probably needed to. And he's like, shit, Sully, I'm put together with duct tape at the moment, so any big shot, I'm fucking injured, bro. And you're expecting these young guys to carry the team, which is, I suppose, yes, great. You want these young players who are getting paid big money to carry you, but these guys are not the young, level-headed, cool-headed, mature dudes that other squads have. Like, they've got young players too, but these young players seem super grounded. The Luke Metcalfs of the world, the young players that are playing with maturity in these other clubs, whereas you've got young players like Mam, like Reece Walsh, like Cobbo, that are just doing some dumb shit off the field. And then you get Martin Tapau. Sorry, Marty. Like, it's unfortunate how they've parted ways with Marty. It just seems like a really tired excuse to free up salary cap. Because if you look at all the other indiscretions that have happened at the Broncos, the fights and shit from last year between Kerrigan and Reynolds, getting recorded, all that shit that went down in Bali, and like there's been lots of off-field shit that have been around this playing group that are still there at the Broncos. And
Marty likes a post.
And then Marty likes a post and gets dragged over the coals and contract sort of torn up over it. And I think that was just probably a business decision, really, just to use that as an excuse to get rid of him. Even after he apologized, and it's like, really? So you can accept Ezra Mam's apology for almost killing himself and someone else. You can accept Reece Walsh's apology for getting caught with drugs and all that sort of stuff.
Exactly.
And it's like,
it's just such a
and it makes the organization look stupid.
100%. It just looks so stupid. Like, if they wanted to part ways, part ways. Like, just do it behind back doors. Just go, look, Marty, we're not going to renew. But why they have to go slam it like, oh, yeah, because he did this? Because it's just like, so it just looks like loud now. Like, you guys would have been better off just behind closed doors, like, Marty been released. Don't have to say why, but, oh, yeah, we released him because he liked the post. Like, that's what you want to say. That's your press release? You gonna go with that? Yeah.
Are you sure? I'm sure the guy who was about to release that for the Broncos is asking those guys in the senior manager, are you sure about that? CEO, are you sure?
We're running this headline. Okay, you sure? Martin Tapau likes posts fired from Broncos. Oh, yeah.
Yes, I don't know about those guys. And the Broncos have got, let's see who they got in the coming weeks.
I guess they'll buy. I think they got to buy this week because of the Origin week.
Buy, and then Sea Eagles, Titans, and then another buy. So they're going to get
and then a buy.
two buys in a month. That seems super stacked to me. Like, it's like, really? So around State of Origin time, you get two of your buys in rounds 12 and 15?
Pretty much. I think Warriors play all of those those Origin rounds just so that we have to work to pick up our points. All these other guys we'll just give you the buy during then. Oh, Storm, you're gonna have to buy during then as well. I think the Roosters were complaining about it, like, hey, we're like affected as much as heaps of these other teams, but how come we're not getting any buys? Like, yes, I think the Roosters are having a bit of a sook about that because, like, hey, we got heaps of reps as well, but we're not getting the buys like the Broncos. Anyway, all right. Enough on the Broncos. They'll be having some of their players backing up for Origin next week, and then probably coming out to play in that game coming up. All right, let's head straight over to our All Eyes. Let's have a look at round 11. How'd you go, Us? Let's go check out your team, NZ was.
Oh, the Isaiah Club Cup.
Oh, Nacho took our Vae Bronx, sorry, mate. Going down there to Nacho. Oh, you got pipped by Ultimate Manly. Oh, what's going on? Just two, 51. Who was that off the back of? Who did you? Dylan Egan. He had an injury, eh?
Yep. And he was my captain too. Yes.
Double points on the injury. Samuel Mandingo taking out third place. God squad. Hey, Mandingo and Ultimate Manly a bit eats with their teams. These guys been gay all season, but I think they've been picking up everyone's scraps from the free agents and making a decent team now. Who else we got over the weekend? Clutch City. It's got up against first place this year or next, Stacey Teriani, who won't be happy with that. All right, let's go check the ladder. See how we're rolling at the moment. I think Stace still sits there at top place. Where are you sitting, mate? You still in the 6?
I'm just out.
Oh, yeah, Stace at the top there. And I'm just still keeping my head above water. Oh, we've got a game. How come there's points tonight? Sono Mendengo making the 6. So, yeah. Unfortunately, mate, you're in the bottom half with Rog. Oh, Sono Mani. Oh, mate, half of the 135 footy show sitting on the top bottom, mate. I don't know what's going on there. We need a new panel. All right. Let's head straight over to the previews. Also, let's go quickly through these. Your pick for the Dogs and the Finns.
Well, I was going to say the Doggies, but it looks like the Finns are up 12-8 heading into the end of the first half. I'm still going to pick the Dogs there.
Nice. Oh, lucky I got my picks in early. Eels Manly.
Manly, bro.
Yeah, I went Eels on this one, just with Manly missing some of their players to Origin. Well, actually, just DCE. But yeah, finally on their team,
got
Eels.
Mitch Moses.
Yeah, I reckon Dylan Brown will pull through for them. Panthers and the Knights.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Because Panthers of old probably would have held firm with whoever was next man up to beat the struggling Knights, but they've got heaps of their players out on Origin duty. But I'm still going to pick the Panthers because the Knights have been freaking terrible.
Yeah.
Been so Kaea.
Agreed, yeah. The Knights without Kele and Ponga pretty much sums up their season. So, yeah, even the Panthers with 7 players out for Origin duties, I am still going with the Baby Panthers, next man up, and hoping for a big one from Blaze, so should be good. Roosters Sharks. Sharks coming off an impressive win over the Melbourne Storm last week. Not as affected, Roosters too. Teddy will probably be gutted, but is probably going to put on a show.
Yeah, like when you look at how many players are out for the Roosters, Angus Crichton, Connor Watson, Collins, Nafahu White's injured, Rob Toya, Spencer Leniu, those guys are in Origin. You'd expect the Sharks to roll the hell over these guys, but they've put in some guys who've been doing really well. This is probably a coin toss for me, bro. But I'm going to go with the Roosters on this one.
Oh, yeah. I like Teddy when he doesn't get picked. He gets in the mood. But I'm going the Sharks only because they're not as affected. And they looked real good last week. They're finally figuring out. I think Hines probably benefits the most, not Kitty like picked. And the form he's had at the moment, I think he's going to enjoy not playing Origin. So I'm picking Hines and the Sharks to get up on this one. Finally, the Warriors and the Raiders this Sunday should be a great game. We'll head down there and check it out. Get our signs on. How are you picking this one, man? Big one, close one?
This will probably be close, bro, but it'll be a Warriors win.
Yeah, like I say, any team with all the expat Kiwis, they always seem to want to get one up, especially with, like I was saying, like Rapana. So Savage again, like he seems to enjoy playing against the Warriors, and Kaea Weeks just when he gets in the mood, especially as a Kiwi. So yeah, I'm nervous about this one. Again, like you said, it's not the same Warriors that played over in Las Vegas. So going to be a big one. Missing our captains, Bunty and Jackson get a start. So been impressed with what Jackson's been bringing off the bench, and that other time that he started. And Bunty's really stepped up this year, so I don't think we lose too much up there in the forwards. Tamari gets another chance at 14 as well. So this should be an awesome game on Sunday. Should be sunny as well. So, yep, I'm going the Warriors in a tight one as well. Nice. Shuttles, let's finish off with a little multi. Unless you got 2 little picks, we'll go with a 2 or 3 leg. I got 1. I'll go Panthers 13 plus with a Alamoti double.
That's a good one. Let's see. I'm going to go for the Roosters Sharks game, and those guys are always good at bashing each other in the middle. But I'm picking that this is going to be a chance for Britain Nikura to finally score their try. Anytime try scorer that I said he would all those weeks ago. And I'm also picking Dom Young to come back and score a try anytime in this game as well.
Oh, nice.
I'm not going to pick any winners. It's just going to be a small one.
Nice
So
3 leg
anytime
there.
try scorers, Dom Young and Nikura. Actually, chuck in Adam Finor-Blake too.
Oh, there we go. Always great for the odds, the more legs. Nice, Us. As always, gamble responsibly. Should also, any last words? What's your plans for the weekend, man? A few short games, not much this weekend.
Yeah, no. Saturdays now are full of just going to watch Caleb's games. So they had a good win last week. Who did they play last week? They had, was it Maris the week before? They won. And then last week they played, I can't remember, but they won last week as well.
Oh,
It
nice.
was a close one. They won last
Who's he
week.
playing for this year?
He's playing for Richmond.
Nice. Yeah.
Those guys are will be up for it. Let's see, who did they play last week? They played Richmond. Was it Mount Albert? No. Pirates? No. Yeah. Well, they ended up winning anyway, so it was a close game. This week they have got. Looks like
Finals rematch.
Monaco. So these guys are going through all of the listed games. I'm like, oh, I can't make those games.
Oh,
Sorry,
yeah. I
guys.
saw the chat. These guys like, is that their time as well? 2:30.
Yeah, 2:30 is their game time. So
nice, job, bro. Yeah, just a little shout out to my girl. She turns 15 on Monday week. So happy birthday, Ali.
happy birthday, Ali, isn't it?
Nice, thanks for jumping on. Thanks all for tuning in and listening to the 135 Footy Show. Remember to go check out the website, WesWesNet.com, or check us out on all socials. Cheers, also. Thanks. Okay. Catch you guys later.
See you, bro.
Cheers, man.